Clash of Champions took place tonight with several moments bearing special mention. The show went well with the occasional slow match, but otherwise it worked. Here's all the WWE news after Clash. For the entire match, Charlotte was destroying Bayley, making sure there was nothing that could be done by her. Unfortunately, she was not careful enough. Bayley pulled the pad from the last turnbuckle and then drove Charlotte into it. After she was done, she grabbed the belt and ran away. There are now new SmackDown Tag Team Champions after the Revival took advantage of the injuries they had inflicted on Woods and Big E. They took out Big E on the outside twice, once pushing him off the apron, and on the second time when they hit the Shatter Machine. Meanwhile, Xavier Woods was unable to get out of the submission attempt by the Revival, and they were able to make him tap out, truly getting the better of the New Day and decimating them. It turns out the rumors weren't true. Sasha Banks did not get the Raw Women's title, but it also appears that this is one feud that is far from over. Becky Lynch was almost forced to tap out numerous times by Sasha, but it appears that the two were both strong enough to survive the offense of the other. Things took a turn when the referee was knocked out by Lynch, who hit him with a chair by accident. The two women continued to do battle inside and outside the ring, as it appeared that there was no one to stop them. Becky had to be pulled off Sasha and she was DQ'd, retaining her title but losing the match. If there was a SmackDown Tag Team title change on Clash, the Raw Tag Team titles were not far behind. Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins started the night for the main roster when they faced Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. For most of the match, both Braun and Seth were utterly dominated. However, Ziggler and Roode are not green superstars who have never wrestled, and they were able to strain Rollins and Strowman. What made things worse came afterwards. Strowman ran through Roode, accidentally pushing him into Rollins. This would lead to Seth getting hit with the glorious DDT, allowing Roode and Ziggler to pick up the win and the titles. Strowman and Rollins were unable to put aside their differences afterwards, with Strowman rushing away. Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston faced each other in a match where there was no outside interference for the first time in a while. They had a back and forth matchup, with Randy being the one who was dominant for the most part. Orton was able to hit the RKO after a long time in the match. That ended up almost being the bane for Kofi, but he was able to get his leg drop on the rope. The same could not be said of Orton when Kofi was able to hit the Trouble in Paradise, as this meant that Kofi got the win. In the pre-show, AJ Styles completely outclassed Cedric Alexander. After an initial flurry, it appeared that Cedric had nothing left when AJ took him up and started to take him apart methodically. A Styles clash to the outside saw him hurt, but things got even worse when Styles had the phenomenal forearm on the inside. The finisher would follow as AJ hit the Styles clash again inside the ring for the win. That match saw him win and get the results that he was desired, but that did not stop him and the OC from beating down Cedric completely. Also on the pre-show, we saw the Cruiserweight title defended as Drew Gulak was able to use Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado against each other to defeat them and retain his title yet again in a pay-per-view. Possibly the biggest news of the night, Luke Harper is back. During the match where Roman Reigns was facing Eric Rowan in a no DQ bout, Harper returned at a critical point to help Rowan win the match. Rowan and Roman had a brutal bout worth watching up to that point. Rowan had sent Roman crashing through two tables, one with a powerbomb and the other with an iron claw. Roman came back with a Superman punch and he was trying to go for a spear when Harper hit him with a big boot, appearing out of nowhere. This was all it took, and back in the ring after a beatdown, Rowan hit the iron claw to pick up the win. Elsewhere, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss retained their titles and Shinsuke Nakamura beat The Miz. However, the last huge moment of the pay-per-view came in the main event. Braun Strowman was booked properly. He was a monster and took everything that Seth Rollins could hit him with and still survived. He took 3 stomps and still kicked out. It was only when Rollins took advantage of Braun's injured leg to reverse the power slam and hit him with a pedigree followed by a stomp that he was finally able to pick up the win. At the end of the day, it was Rollins left to celebrate, but he would not celebrate long. When he was heading out, he was interrupted as the lights went dark and Bray Wyatt appeared out of nowhere as the Fiend. While the lights flashed, he hit the Sister Abigail's kiss and then the mandible claw, while screaming, "Braun." There has to be more to this story, and we may find out more on Monday Night Raw. And this was your Clash of Champions news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later in the next video.